Listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And do not forget that you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. Willard or Dibs in the building. This will be a pretty quick changeover because Dr. Narad Panya is joining the show at 9:30.
Actually, he is a busy man, and he will be at 9:45 now. So he's coming.
Yeah.
Emergency Pandia will be happening.
Yes.
Emergency Joe Thomas is happening on the show today too.
Great.
At 10 a.m. an hour from now.
Just a quick clean
You
up.
guys don't need to go anywhere unless you want to.
No, you guys hang out.
He's got a video shoot.
Don't you blame it on Doc Pandia if you need to be somewhere else.
I got to be somewhere
You
too.
take accountability.
Just so you know, on the way toward the
Then you
door,
stay.
you'll be showered with beer, hot dogs, and racial epithets. Apparently. That's what we do.
Which apparently happens at every stadium.
Well, again,
Let it go. Let it go. Let it
No,
go.
I'm not
Shut
letting
up,
anything
Frozen.
go. Screw that.
First of all, to
Tired of taking a
Schlepp
high road around here.
it's Fraudenbaugh. If you want to disparage Joe Fortenbaugh, it's Fraudenbaugh.
Or Fadenball.
Fadenbaugh, yes, when he's losing picks, but he did have Philadelphia in the first half. So
he made it well known.
Of course he did, yes. But in terms of it happens at every stadium, I haven't been to every stadium in road gear in an NFC Championship game, but what I saw that you guys endured and all the Niner fans that walked through that gauntlet, beyond disgusting.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this, and I was telling him, because we had a lot to think about on the plane. I was like, all right, we just had Cowboys-Niners. Now, the Cowboy fans are the most obnoxious that we think, right? You know, Niner fans think that Cowboy fans are the most...
They think that about us, too. But
I know, but
go
like,
ahead. Yeah.
I walk through that parking lot all the time, and I was thinking, like, if we pulled anything even close to that, it would be all over the news, and it would be wild. Secondarily, I watched Giants-Dodgers, the biggest rivalry on the West Coast for baseball, and maybe it's different because it's baseball, okay? I'll grant you that.
Right.
I watched them beat us in Game 5, and I watched Giants fans have to sulk it up, get up, and be like, you know what? Good game, and walk out. No issues. No problems. This just happened. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yes, but we do need to remember Brian Stowe, for example, and also there was
100%.
Dodger fans who got killed here. So it has gotten ugly. It has gotten violent. But in terms of, like, the general treatment
That's
of
what
the
I was
opponent,
going at, yes.
because you guys were just walking through on a Sunday afternoon at 11:30 our time, 2:30 Eastern.
And the thing that everybody in Philly said, the normal Philly fans, the rational ones saying, that's just the way we do it out here. So it's not just a one-time thing. That happens every single home game. That's
Actually,
terrible behavior.
it's funny you just said that because I was texting I got one. You know how we've all got people on the other side. Like, I got a buddy. He's been a buddy for a long time. He's from Philly. He's an Eagle fan. And I waited 24 hours because I couldn't text him the day of the game.
I feel you.
But let's emotionally get through it. Yeah. And then yesterday, I'm like, hey, because he went. He took his son out to the game. He was there with you guys.
He hit him with a hot dog.
And I was just like, I waited for a day because he lives down in Southern California. I waited for him to do his travel, get back home, and then I hit him and say, hey, man,
long travel.
Congrats on making the Super Bowl. And apparently he was sitting somewhere near where he could see Joey Bosa in Bosa's suite. So he had taken a picture of Joey Bosa, and this is how it went. I'm like, congrats, brother. He's like, hey, thanks. That could not have been fun for 49er fans the way that played out. And then he sent that picture, and he goes, hey, you recognize this cat who was sitting near us? And I go, yeah, he got into it with some fans outside. Did you see the video? His response, I did not, but it's hard to blame him. Philly fans were feeling ourselves yesterday, and when you get 50,000 of us, definitely many that are asking to get their teeth knocked out. So this is like rational Philadelphia fan who's speaking to what you just said. Like, this is just how it is.
Mark, that's Joey
Bosa.
Big
Joey Bosa.
He's humongous.
He's also Joey Bosa.
That's what I'm saying.
Hugh Douglas, who
Hugh
is
Douglas is so
94
cool.
WIP,
So
former
cool.
Eagle, he said, guys, he goes, you can't engage. They're looking for a reaction to put on video and post on the internet.
Right.
And there was a lot of fakes. There was a lot of suckers there. So
of course.
it's all good.
Regardless,
Whatever.
okay.
They're probably going to be number one, though, from here on out in my lifetime.
I know we're going to
get
get
straight up.
Let's move on to the quarterback thing because that hit us. We were on the plane. It hit us like a ton of bricks when it happened because like we're praying it's not going to be any kind of surgery.
Right.
And Dibs, you had a different because I think this is a very serious injury. That doesn't mean that he can't come back. These timetables. I'm worried that they're going to have to slow play this because this is this man's career. I'm worried about him. Like I'm legit. freaking so worried about him. And I'm thinking to myself, God, this is such a sucky injury. You think he's going to be just fine?
He'll be fine. And my thoughts go out to him because he's not a pitcher, and we don't have to worry about 12 months, and then he's going to have to soft toss and long toss
the
and all
Johnny
the rest of
Cueto.
it. So my only concern is whether or not he gets bad advice to prolong the surgery like Jimmy G did. Jimmy G slow played it. Oh, maybe it gets better. The surgery timetable was late, and he wasn't ready. If Brock Purdy gets surgery in the next, let's say, 2 to 4 days, he's back in 6 months. He's back in time for week 1, maybe. And in the meantime, Trey Lance, it's your time.
Yeah,
let's go.
I'm with you on, first of all, I don't know why he would hold off. They already said yesterday he's having surgery. It's just which kind of surgery is he going to do? So I don't think there's going to be any slow play on the surgery. I'm also with you, Bonte Joe, I feel where you guys are at and what you're saying about everything's on the table. I get the emotion. However, I don't think everything's on the table because the names you guys are bringing up are not stopgaps. I get the idea of a stopgap. Like, is Brock ready week 1? Do they actually like Trey Lance? To me, that's where the conversation lies. You guys are bringing up names that are like 6-year names.
Not Brady.
No,
who's
Brady's
a 6-year name?
Well, you guys brought up Kirk Cousins. I've heard Lamar Jackson's name. Yeah,
but I just threw Lamar because I was saying that's a name Niner fans are going to relate to.
Those guys are not.
You
Those
don't
guys
have the
are
trade capital to get Rodgers.
Those guys are not coming to the 49ers to like be a 1-year guy or a half a year guy. Like, I just feel like it felt odd to me, and I don't mean now you guys, but many of the fans I've talked to, it felt odd that 72 hours ago we had the report that the organization is moving forward with Brock Purdy as the starter, and most people were like, I think we get that. We're cool with that. And then 6 plays happen, and an injury happens, and now we're like back to square one? I don't think we're at square one. It's an unfortunate injury, but I very much stand here today and believe that Brock Purdy is the starter of the 49ers. He might be out, and whether Trey Lance is
if Trey Lance plays the first month and Brock comes back and Trey's playing well, do you go back to Brock?
No, you stay with Trey.
You deal with that at the time.
Yeah,
but Brock also should not be out until October. That should not be the time.
Nobody's out until August, and when August comes and you get that first preseason game, he won't be ready to play. He might be ready to get a little bit. It really comes down to how does Trey Lance look in April and May and June to me, because if he still looks like he hasn't done what he needs to do to be QB1, then we get to April, May, June. Now we have a different conversation.
This is what I think is interesting about Trey Lance. We've been waiting and talking about what we think the organization truly inside actually thinks about Trey Lance, right? I think now, because of this Brock Purdy injury, we might find out. If they did go sign someone else,
yes,
they are telling you.
I agree with that.
They do not believe
I agree
in
with
Trey
that.
Lance. And if that's the case, I would trade Trey Lance right now.
You can't afford to trade him with the cap hit.
Well, no. Again, depending on who else depending on what else you're going to do. I don't want the guy traded. My point is this. If you could go back a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and trade James Wiseman, would you have?
For what?
Doesn't matter.
No,
Point is,
it does matter.
If you don't believe that it's going to get better, then it's going to get worse.
I still look
the value's going to go down.
I still keep Wiseman because I won a championship without him contributing zero.
Oh, that's
so now
fine.
To me, it's like,
and plus it's a wild
he comes
card.
back. It's a wild card, and he's got vertical space.
It's like a roll of the dice.
Something he offers that nobody else can do on this roster.
I'm with you.
I'll keep him.
I'm with you.
Because I know you're not going to
do about James Wiseman.
I want Trey Lance to stay too, but I don't know what they know. I haven't. Right? I don't see him in practice every day. My point is, if you have assessed, if you're the 49ers and you've decided Trey's not the guy, well, then his value's only going to get worse over the next 3 years.
Right, but to trade him now, you take a $20 million cap hit.
Right now, it's still a mystery.
Why not just keep him? Just keep him like Jordan Love in Green Bay.
I agree.
So here's
well,
what
no, but not to make him
QB3.
Not to make him QB3.
Mark, we need 7 quarterbacks. I don't know if you know this. We need to suit
they're
up,
just down to their 4th quarterback.
Here's what I will say to you guys, both you guys, and I pray to you. I'm saying this on the front. I'm not trying to be a hater. I pray that I am way wrong on this. I do not think 6 months. Boom. I would be shocked if Brock Purdy doesn't start the season on the PUP list, which means he would miss the first 6 games.
Why do you feel that way?
This is your bread and butter, your arm. And they have slow played every single injury for the last 10 years in this organization. And they are very, very cautious, whether that's the player, the team, somewhere in between. I think there's so much unknown. The sample size of the amount of people that have had this injury in this sport is very unknown. I think you got to take this very touch and go. And if I'm part of the organization, I have to operate thinking he will start the season on the PUP list. That's the way. Oh. And I'm telling Mark, I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm fearful of this.
Doc Pandia in 37 minutes. We'll ask him that question.
Because I've been doing the research and I'm just looking, I'm saying the amount of guys that have done this in the NFL, it is so, we're talking like 3 guys.
Right.
Over like 30 years.
I'm with you, Joe. I don't see how he starts week 1 next year. We got more to talk about. William Dibbs coming up. Dr. Rob Pandya, 9:45 here on 95.7 The Game.